Twin balls. All right.
We are here. Welcome to the show, everyone. Rewind with Ellen is in the building. I'm your host, Ellen the Great, aka Ellen Wanjiru, and with
And
me
I'm our
is
co-host. Oh, sorry. I cut the. Yeah, sorry. Long day, people. I'm our co-host, Ro Carter. Hi.
Rose going through it today. How are you?
Ah, man. It's a long day. A lot of people have been getting sick at work, so I've been working a lot. So anyway, I'm prepared. I'm excited. I'm ready to go. So let's do it. Look at. Oh, hold on. Let's give a shout out to Ellen, looking like she's on. What was the show? After the Cosby Show.
Oh, a different
Yeah, looking
world.
like you're from a different
Yeah,
world. I see you. I see you.
I am.
Throwback. All
I
right.
am from a different world, though. So thanks for recognizing that. No, I'm just kidding. This is one of my favorite sweatshirts. So I think I decided
You
to
should
wear
have
it.
told me it was 80s, 90s. I would have.
Listen, this just came out in the last 10 minutes. I figured let me wear something special for our favorite show, our kind of people season finale. I want to cry, but I won't. I mean, we have been following this show since the very beginning, since day one, episode 1, 12 episodes in. And I'm a little sad. I'm happy, but I'm sad because I really felt like I was a part of the Franklin DuPont family. Like, this is something I look forward to every week. Where I wished that I was a part of the family. Wishful thinking, but all good things come to an end, but hopefully not indefinitely, and hopefully for season 2. So let's get into it. Kiss It Up to God was the name of this episode, which is aptly titled, considering all the things, the Franklins and the DuPonts, all the mistakes, or rather, I should say, they've been making. And I love how they explained that. They said, pick up your mistake fast enough and hold it up to the sky. All your bad will be undone. If only it was that easy, Ro, right? But I love that that's kind of the theme for this episode. So before I begin, I do want to give a congratulations to Joe Morton, who plays Teddy Franklin, for his NAACP Image Awards nomination for Best Actor in Drama Series that was created by Karen Gist. So he deserved that nomination because he does what
Oh,
Joe
now
Morton.
you're giving him love. Now you're giving him love.
Oh, come on, Joe Morton is
No, not
regardless
Joe.
of the
You never
character.
liked him though since the beginning of the show. You're like, oh gosh, Joe. No, I mean
I
not Joe Martin, but the character.
Right.
The character.
Let's
Let
be
me
clear.
let me get it right. The character.
That's a huge nod to how well he plays it, right?
Yes.
Rashad is in the building. What up, Rashad? He says,
What
hey,
up, Rashad?
Ellen. All right, so let's get into it. So that first scene, man, the breakfast table. The minute I saw it, I thought about you, and I was like, whew. I wonder if Ro just picked up on that dynamic of the three of them. First of all, the fact that Tyreek has a seat at the breakfast table, I was kind of like, okay, he's officially in the building. The shade that Raymond was throwing Raymond, right? That Teddy was throwing Raymond. I'm sorry. What did you think about that? I love that the catchphrase was, "It is not a good day to be Raymond."
Yeah, so he came in hot. I mean, Teddy and Raymond always, when they had their little meetings or run-ins, it's always aggressive. Or who's the male, who's the alpha in the building. And Teddy gets at him, and Raymond holds his own. And so Teddy's like, yeah, I got some news for you. And remember, we talked about it last week. We were like, what is he going to do with that news that he found out his daughter had the key card and it was in the room? So what was he going to do? And now I was like, I didn't see that coming at all. He manipulated to the next level. He said, now I can call you out because I knew you were in there as well and use that against you. And now back up. And on top of that, I just bought out your company again because they're going to be catering the new stadium. And I was like, damn. And he's just sitting there like, okay. But don't you forget, Teddy, that you were stepping out as well. I didn't step out, and I love, we knew that, because we watched the episodes and knew that they're still an honest relationship and it's there. There's something they're just working on, but there's something there. Whereas Teddy, he called him out. Ray was like, hey, didn't you step out on your wife and had a whole nother baby? And I was like, ooh.
But Raymond's response was so beautiful. He was like, yeah. I did. And right, like, all right, you could bring that up, but it really has no consequence in this. And a quick correction, Leah was not in the room. She just had Jack's key card. Raymond was somehow seen in and around that room. So that's really the sword, like, yo, your wife had the key card and you were there. So tread lightly. Tread lightly. And the fact that Raymond and Tyreek are there because they're on the same team, right? The team that's supposed to be taking down Teddy. Teddy's none the wiser. And so while Tyreek is sitting in the middle of this awkward tennis match, verbal tennis match between Teddy and Raymond, he hears that Angela is moving to Boston, right? And so we see the look on his face and he's just like, wait, what? Anyway, I love the fact that that breakfast table scene happened because it set the tone beautifully, as all of their opening scenes do, really. Okay, so Angela and Leah. I loved seeing Angela talk Leah off the ledge, right? At that meeting at the house that she called to kind of bring Angela back into the Gracie and the incubator program, and Olivia checks her. Right. And we see the sisters kind of be sisters and Angela be there for Leah. And I loved seeing Leah in hood mode. We don't see Leah in the mode of I'm about to take off my earrings, I'm about to hop over this couch and get in my mother-in-law's ass. But, you know, Angela played her role and she made it do what it do. What did you think about that?
Well, I mean, that's a powerful scene. She should get a shout out to L. Scott Caldwell, Olivia, who plays Olivia, the grandma. Yo, she was like, "Excuse me."
Right.
She's like, you know, we might have to look at where you're at right now and reassess and see if you deserve the position you're in. And I was like, wow. And always her hair is always laced so perfectly when she comes with the fire. And she's like, "Oh, you're gonna check me?" And I love how Angela, that sisterhood that you said, you know, to add to that, they bonded there. And Angela's like, "Yo, this is me all the time. So I I know when I'm acting out of pocket. So let's just calm it down just a little bit." Because I think Angela's learned too, right? How many times she lost it and lost something on the way of doing that, right? And so understand, hey, this is big, not only for you, but for me. Angela ain't stupid. You know, at the end of the day, if you're out, then this doesn't help any of us.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So she wanted to use it to her advantage. So I love that scene. It showed the camaraderie of the two ladies and just the future of what's to come.
Right. Lisa May is in the building. Hey, Lisa. So Lisa. So she dropped a comment and she said, Olivia is the real OG. Rashad followed up with, Olivia is an evil old bat, but yes, her wig is laid. Listen, that right here, I don't know that I've ever seen a wig as tight as Olivia. You can't tell me that's not her hair. That's how good it is.
That's some good money right there. Whoever's on the set design, just that alone should be nominated. Set design, that hair is pieces. Nice.
Shout out to the hair and makeup team at Our Kind of People. Y'all are doing the thing. And also the wardrobe. Jesus. We'll get to
Always
that.
Killing it. Always killing it.
It never fails. All right. So sticking in the vein of Angela and Leah, right? So another scene, Angela tells Leah that her father killed his brother, Louis, her uncle, right? And you see Leah just holding on, but no, of course he didn't. He was shot, in a drug deal, got bad, and you just see Leah still holding on to this perfect vision of her father, while Angela is trying to tell her, like, yo, he is not the man that you think he is, and you got to help me figure this out. And that was difficult to watch and to understand Angela's frustration, right? She needs Leah on her side.
She does.
But
they always go back and forth.
Right. And but I'm glad that kind of gets tied up in this episode, right? It ends the way it ends is the way it's supposed to end, but we shall get to that. All right, so what else happened that was interesting? So we're kind of building up to the big stuff, so bear with us. Taylor breaks up with Nikki. I mean, we saw this coming. This was happening.
Oh my God.
Off about Taylor was like, yo, just tell her the truth. Like, don't make it seem like she was a summer hit Like, and that's all that it was. That was not all that it was. Like, do you think the way Taylor did it? Like, what? Keep in mind they're in high school, right?
Yeah, that's the only reason why I let it go, because they
Right.
were in high school. Otherwise, I've been like, come on, people, we're grown now, we're grown folks.
Yeah.
And again, that whole summer, whether it be a summer fling, understanding where they are. I mean, these kids went through a lot this summer. I mean, a lot of drama that most kids don't typically go through.
Right.
In a make-believe world with no pandemic as well, you know. So they were kind of living their best life, but
Yeah.
also, you know, coming out of the closet, understanding what that means, what your parents understanding that. And to go back just to Olivia a little bit, Olivia called that out too. She's like, you just changing all the rules
That's right.
you
That's
know.
right.
So it holds a lot of weight and water in terms of, you know, what the relationship has become. And it sometimes takes that to understand what you had right before you lose it. And so now these kids are kind of coming in their own and saying, hey, you know what? I realized that I didn't need you, but I needed her to, you know, I needed my cousin to kind of open my eyes to see, you know, what this really was and who I am as a person. And so that was deep if you were patient enough to let it unfold. But there
Right.
is something there, you know, it's just like anybody, you know, you have to grow to that next level. And you kind of see that a little bit, but again, they're in high school.
Yeah. From Rashad, he says Taylor's trash for playing Nikki like that, but Lauren is garbage too, so they deserve each other. Damn, trash and garbage, Rashad. Jesus Christ! But I feel you. I've been on that same wavelength since the beginning, so I get where you're coming from. They kind of deserve each other. Nikki and I'm sorry, Taylor and Lauren deserve each other, truly, because they're sort of, you know, two peas in a pod with the way they're moving and shaking. They really don't care about other people's feelings as much as they should. And I don't even know that age has something to do with that. They're at the age where they can decipher right or wrong. Lauren seems to be the one that's the voice of reason, which is very strange. I don't trust that shit. But you know, maybe she's coming around. I don't know. Rashad says Nikki got turned out, so her nose was wide open. Taylor has been around the block. Her feelings weren't that deep. That's true. Taylor's an OG in this love game, in this girl love game. Nikki, this was her first time, I'm assuming.
Yeah,
Right?
I'm definitely, yeah, I'm not even assuming. I'm gonna say yes. The girl
Yeah,
just
right.
grew 20 inches in like 5 episodes. She was 5'2", now she's 5'8". The girl, I don't know.
I love her height. I love her height. But I do love Nikki's comeback to Taylor. She says, as if the girl, what did she say? She basically said to Taylor, you got back with the chick that blamed me for pushing you off the yacht.
Yeah.
Like, as if that wasn't excitement enough. Like, you want to go back to that? And so the fact that Taylor isn't really connecting, like, why would you want to be with somebody who would accuse somebody of essentially dying, and it's not true? But, you know, whatever. It is what it is.
You know what I will add to that? And last thing I'll add to that, I love it when she came home. And I think anybody that has kids and they're going into those teenage years, their first breakup is like, oh my, and we all remember our first heartbreak. It's just like, oh, don't talk to me. I got to sit in a dark room. My life is over. And I love how they made that moment an educational moment and they had fun with it. And her dad's there was like, hey, you know what we used to do? Grandma used to say, throw spaghetti over your head. And then if it sticks, you know, whatever kind of letter it forms, that's the next person that's going to come into your life. And I was like, you know what? That's really great in ways of kind of moving past it. Definitely understanding what happened, but definitely you have to grow and move past it. So I thought that was a beautiful parent teaching moment that once again in this show always does right by that.
Actually, I couldn't have said that better. And that's a great segue to the proposals, right? Boom, boom. So, okay. So I got a lot to say about this. I got a lot to say about this because last week, I was Team Nate. Like, we posed the question, who do you think that she should end up with? And I said Nate because of my past issues and feelings about Tyreek and him being super emotional. So now I'm changing the story. We could work through those emotions, Tyreek. I can coach you on how to do that, and we could be together on the beach, in the beach that you own, in the house that you are going to build me. So we could work through those emotions. I did.
The brother. Did. Wow, Ellen. You know what? You cold-blooded.
But the fact that there were 2 proposals on the show, I mean, it can't get any better than that. Like, if there would have been 1, it would have been whack. Like, no, let's do 2. Let's get these 2 beautiful Black men proposing to Angela. Who's she going to end up with? So let's talk about Nate's proposal and how he went about doing it. I love that he took it back to showing her a video on a projector outside of her house with a dinner table set up with all her favorite food and her wine. I was sure like that was gonna be the thing that Angela sees and she's like, oh my gosh, that's who I want to be with. But then what happens? Tyreek walks in. So before I get into that, what did you think? What are your thoughts on Nate's attempt?
So we have proposing on a budget, and
yes,
proposing on a budget. For brothers out there that are going through some stuff, financial difficulties in this times, and are trying to really come something out of their head, out of their mind, don't know what to do. This was beautifully and well done. Now the problem here is if you have a past, I don't always like to go back in time because then the memory comes up of when you messed up. And so again, I won't jump into Tyreek's kind of proposal, but then Tyreek kind of calls it out too, the future. And that's what you're trying to build now, our future. Hey, I messed up in the past. And this is a great time we had in the past. But again, what's our future? And brother wasn't ready to handle that. Now, he had the right to slap Tyreek upside the head for coming in my proposal. I don't appreciate that. I would have definitely said, hey, brother, this is can I get this time? Can I get this time? Can I reclaim my time? And that was it. But Tyreek, listen, there's only one line you're allowed to interrupt a proposal with. Hey, I got some information about your mom. I was like, God damn, all right. You know what?
And Nate promptly got up.
Yeah, and Nate was like, okay. There's nothing else he could do. So that whoever wrote that entrance and that line there, it was perfect because that allowed me to be like, oh damn. But I was like, oh, this is way more important. So
absolutely it is. Right. And Angela didn't even flinch or bat an eye. Like, she just got up because that is way more important. I want to go back to what you mentioned earlier about them in the kitchen with Nikki. And when Angela talked about, your first love never dies. Right. And we saw the look Nate gave her, like he looked at her like, oh, wow, because he's thinking she's talking about him. Right. So he, of course, he's going to shoot his shot. But it's interesting how other people or things that people said informed decisions, right? Because if Angela hadn't said that, would Nate have done that? If Tyreek hadn't seen Nate's ring and that dinner, would he have proposed, right? So we see a sense of urgency in Tyreek that is kind of like, okay, and like, all right, so let's go to the proposal. Let's go to the proposal, Tyreek's proposal. Before I do that, I want to share a comment from our old faithful Rashad. He said, Nate is fine, and yes, they have history, but that man has been locked up since the Bush administration. They holding on to love from a past that's long gone. That's true. That's true. Or is it though, Rashad?
No, but he didn't even get a taste when he got out. He didn't get he tried, but he didn't get a taste. And let me tell you something. You can't propose if you didn't get a taste of the new stuff.
He remembers. He remembers what it was.
I know, but she don't know. She forgot your behind a long time ago, brother. If she ain't willing to taste it a little bit on the way out, then you ain't gonna get in again. I'm sorry.
Right. So Tyreek, all right. So this beach walk, man, this beach walk was everything. My question is though, Angela didn't see none of that as she was walking towards it. Like even like Tyreek had to light up that whole situation, but you're not seeing any of that in front of you. But that's a rhetorical question.
Angela's in her head right now. She just got proposed to earlier, trying to figure out who killed her, who set up her mom. Figuring out all this stuff. She's playing, Nancy Drew one day. Proposal over here. She's just being a mom, a parent, trying to run a business. A lot of stuff is going on the island. And mind you, people, it's only a summer. It's only one summer. It's the best summer ever. 2 proposals, couple of deaths. Good time. Good time. Good time.
So this proposal was epic. It totally shits on Nate's. It's like,
wow.
Like we forgot about Nate in that moment. I'm sure Angela was just kind of like, what? And then the things that are coming out of Tyreek's mouth.
Oh,
like I bought beach you bought a beach, sir? Yes, I'll marry you. You don't even have to propose. I'll marry you.
I'll build you something here, girl, and a room for your daughter as well.
Oh, it was poetic.
All right. And I know he's your past, but I want to be your future.
Oh, yeah.
The only thing I was missing was fireworks, but I will. Sorry, and you can finish out on this. I will say one thing though. The way he left, let me tell you something. You gotta have some good money. No. You gotta have some good money though to just do all that and then walk away. And she didn't even give you an answer. Right. He was like, "All right, girl, take your time. I'll see you later." What?
And just left her there to think about that.
That's huge. That's not waiting there, nothing. They're gonna mess a lot of brothers. This show is gonna mess a lot of people up. This summer, people are gonna be, a lot of Black folks are gonna be held in the water and be drowning with their head. Oh, girl, you dipped me too far, and all these cotillions and everything. It's gonna be crazy summer.
So Lisa May says, I'm going with the man who owns a beach. Absolutely, Lisa. Cheryl Perk is in the building. Hey, Cheryl. Cheryl agrees with that. We're all on the same page here too.
Ladies.
I'm not even going to say what God said. Okay.
Wow.
Yeah, we're all on the same page. I mean, who is it? Though? I mean, the minute I saw that, I immediately took back. I retracted what I said last week about Tyreek being all in his emotions. Like I said, I'll work through that with you. It's okay. I'll get over my issue with emotional humans. But anyway,
my dude was writing poems, and this dude couldn't even express why the door's open. Really? You ladies are cold. That cold blood, cold.
But knowing who Angela is and where she's trying to be, it would have made sense for her to say yes to Nate, right? To move back to Boston to do what? To live in an apartment? Like, what are we doing in Boston?
You are so funny living in an apartment.
What are we gonna do in Boston? Like Boston Oaks Bluff Beach house? My what?
We're getting a 2-bedroom in Boston. 3. I'm a daughter. We're getting 2 bedrooms. 3.
How are we gonna make this work, Nate?
2.5 bedrooms.
But I hope this doesn't mean that this is the last we see of Nate, right? Like, and I also don't believe that things are completely over between him and Angela. Again, it's a lot of history. Who knows how that's gonna, reappear in what way? And so I love that we have something good to look forward to in season 2, because they haven't.
Tyreek, you got one chance, brother. You got one. You got one chance. As soon as you mess up, woo!
Now, what would be dope is season 2. Nate, he's found his footing and he makes money and he's like on his own 2 feet and comes back to Oaks Bluff, and now he's giving Tyreek a run for his money, right? So now we're on equal playing fields now, right? I don't know.
Or from Nate, I just go by my own island and do my own thing, ladies. Yeah, you see what happens? See what he did now? He upgrade now. He don't need you and your island anymore. He's gonna move. I hope Nate makes it for all the people out there. Keep your head up, people. If you're like a Nate, you can still make it. You're gonna be okay. You're gonna find true love someday.
And what's funny? Well, I'm talking about an apartment, going back to Boston, an apartment. Rashad's talking about the Roxbury projects. Damn, the projects, Rashad? Yikes, that's hardcore. So, all right, let's move on to who we've been calling Simone this whole time. Her name is actually Sloan in this show. It sounds so much like Simone, but when I saw it written out, I was like, oh, crap. Okay. So
we're just going to stick to that. We'll stick to that. All right.
I want to say that my prediction from last week is legit, right? Do you remember my prediction of Sloan being shady, not being trustworthy?
But I didn't understand this. So she was still I don't understand.
They didn't reveal it, but why are things disappearing from Lauren's room all willy-nilly, right?
Yeah.
And the way they're setting it up, Sloan is grimy. Sloan is absolutely grimy. Why are her and Quincy having unprotected sex? Like what's happening? Is she really pregnant? Like is it Quincy's?
Oh wow,
baby?
you going to that level?
I mean, is it Quincy's baby? You know, like Sloan is trying to get in. She's trying to get in where she can in this world. Not necessarily this family, but in this world. And she's going to do whatever she has to do. Do y'all agree, Lisa, Cheryl, Rashad? Do y'all agree with that about Sloan? What do you think?
I totally disagree with you. Okay. Listen, what do you mean? Of course, just because she's the help doesn't mean she's the help. All right. She's been fighting for her own position in this relationship. She's challenged him on so many levels to make him better. We're going back to this earlier. We're talking about Angela's relationship and finding somebody who's going to make you better. She's trying to make this man better. That's all she's ever done in this. She checked his sister 3 or 4 times. When his sister was doing the grimy, dirty stuff behind their backs. So until there's proof, I tell you, until there's proof that she stole something, minus the pregnancy, I'm believing her. I'm believing her. And who has a kid? She literally was like, see this? See this? Back in the day, he said, I'm pregnant. But she was like, oh, that's you. Oh.
That was a little too convenient right after her grandmother catches them and tells her that she needs to pack her bags and leave, right?
You think grandma influenced and said, hey, you got to set it up?
No.
Or she's trying to stay. I don't know.
But Lisa, Rashad, and Cheryl don't think that Simone is that gangster. Rashad thinks it might be Taylor. Now, I didn't think about that. But was Taylor at that beach party that Simone was also at? Lauren accused Sloan, damn it, of stealing a purse from that beach party.
Yeah, that used to be weird in relationships. They always be like the girlfriend or the boy would steal stuff from their significant other because they had a little bit more than what they did, and so they never would think it's them because it's their significant other. So that's a great point, Rashad. I think that's the culprit. We'll find that out later, but I think which goes back to trusting Sloan. Hello.
The verdict's still out on Sloan. So as you were talking, I just thought of something. They haven't really shared a storyline for Taylor outside of her being Lauren's love interest. So what is Taylor's background, right? Like, who is she? Where's she come from? Who are her people? Who are her parents? Like, we never.
Where's her money? Where's her money coming from?
Money, right? Exactly. Yeah. So that's not beyond the realm of possibilities, Rashad, that it might be Taylor. But I'm also still not believing that Sloan is like this sweet, innocent girl. I agree with Rashad. She could have poked a hole in the condom, right? You know, girls be doing that type of stuff because she knows what it is.
What world do you guys live in? It's 2022. What is no one's poking holes anymore.
Yes, they are. Drake had to put hot sauce.
They're putting hot sauce. Yeah, they're not poking holes anymore. They're putting hot sauce.
But still, that's to put hot sauce so they don't do any crazy things. Anyway,
that's another episode. But I'm telling you, that's a weird. We need to talk. We should talk about that outside. But Drake, that's crazy.
Like, who's the hot sauce for?
So again, you're a grown man. Unless he's telling me it's like I'm worried about harming other animals, you flush it. You always flush it. You always flush it. So I might side with her for 1 second. Sorry, we're going off topic. Might side with her for 1 second, just because she's saying that. So he tested her. So it was kind of a setup. Yes, he didn't say to go do that, but the fact that he didn't flush it and put it in the garbage, like, what year are you in? Well, you're Drake. You throw that, you flush it. I don't know. Anyway, sorry. Went off topic. Sorry.
Yeah. Yeah, the verdict is still. I'm sorry, my mind is just all over the place right now.
We did not rehearse at all today. This is what happens when we don't rehearse and we go over anything. This is what happens. Sorry, people.
When we go off road, yeah. So
Off the
anyway,
cuff.
let's get to the Grand Illumination Ball, the piece de resistance. This is just where all the magic happens. Outside of the proposal, this ball was where it was at. And when Nikki, Angela, and Piggy walked in, they took my breath away. Their gowns were gorgeous. The colors, that walk-in scene was beautiful. I especially loved Piggy's mint.
Oh, Piggy stole the show. Hers the best. That was the best outfit.
Her mint green gown was everything. Oh my gosh.
She had the leg out too, like, hey, everybody, yes. See my leg, see my leg.
Yes, it was beautiful. I absolutely loved it. And staying in the vein of Quincy, I mean, he snaps and he outs his sister in that moment. And this is when Nikki finds out the real reason Taylor broke up with her. And I love that Nikki stood her ground and she put that whole family in check. Like, I feel like that's the first time, you know, Nikki has stood up for herself to them and in front of them. So it was a pivotal role, I think, for Nikki. And I'm glad that she'd had a chance to heal, right? Because that could have really sent her spiraling if she had that moment you talked about earlier with her parents. So, yeah. And then Leah presents Teddy with the gift, right? In honor of the night Rose was first inducted in the Grey Cities in 1984, which is really the whole premise of this damn episode. Everything we've been waiting for since episode 1, the culmination of it is in this scene in the at the ball. Teddy's reaction, what did you think about his reaction when he opened up that box? My heart went out to him.
Yeah, man. I thought he was going to go into one of his episodes again. I was like, oh, wow, you guys didn't plan on that, did you?
Me too, me too.
I was like, okay. This is the plan. We give dad his old revolver, and when he sees it, he's gonna smile, right? Or he might have a heart attack. Like, did they even think?
They didn't care.
What was the worst case scenario? And that's why I don't understand Leah. At one minute, she's like, no, defending her dad. She's like, oh, this is gonna be a great idea. He's gonna love this. He's gonna love it. Like, I didn't get that.
Well, I think that was kind of in jest, right? They knew what they were doing.
Yeah, but again, what she was doing earlier just didn't make any sense. I guess because if it's set up, no, but if it's set up the way, because remember, they go at it. Leah and Angela have a meeting about her father. Yeah, earlier on, and she's like, "Hey, I found all this stuff. I actually have the gun that he used." And so at some point, she had to convince her, "Hey, this is going to be a good idea. We present him with it." But then she was just defending her father 2 seconds ago. So it's just like, oh my God, like, why wouldn't you think about the bigger picture of what could happen? Like, this man could have died right in front of you because of you guys surprising with a flashback that he just, is trying to get over. So anyway, it was an interesting moment, but then it led to a Clue episode, the movie Clue, in terms of everybody's trying to figure it out or who did it, and that was actually kind of cool because you really had that moment with all the cast, and they got to have a voice in that moment, in that scene, and then you really get to see Teddy open up. And I was waiting to see. I kept on watching Piggy to see. He was like, "Oh, he lying. Is he lying? Is he? I don't know if he's Teddy telling the truth." So it was a really good moment.
That was a beautiful scene. That whole confrontation in his office with the family, just beautifully dressed. And I loved how as Teddy was telling his truth, the way the camera was angled, you could see somebody in the background, right? So as it's fixed on Teddy, you see Lauren in the background, or you see Piggy in the background. So there's these bursts of color while it's focused on Teddy. It was just beautifully shot. Now, what I thought was crazy was that Louis, his brother, appears, or rather a hallucination of Louis appears. And I thought that was so clever and strategic for them to bring him back in. As we're talking about Louis, let Louis be there. Right now, I do not believe Teddy's story about Rose No, because Rose followed him. She was manic and angry, and then she wanted to shoot Teddy, but then Lewis jumped in and and saved Teddy. Come on, someone manic and angry is not going to shoot what we call an assassin shot. Because don't forget, a bullet is in between Lewis's eyes. Like that's a kill shot. Rose ain't shooting to perfectly aim the middle of Lewis's head. I'm sorry. That's not happening. We're talking about somebody manic and angry. I didn't believe it. It was just...
You know what, ladies and gentlemen? Ellen has become a detective, and she does autopsies. You know what? This when you think that she doesn't have this extra hat, another hat appears. Yes.
I got plenty. And I'm not the only one that thinks that. Cheryl thinks the same thing. Lisa thinks the same thing. Rashad, what you think? I don't know where Rashad is at with that, but it was too convenient. It was too convenient to blame Rose, who's dead. Are you serious?
No, hold on. Do you not remember the flashback, like 6 or 7 episodes? When they grab the mother and take her out of the room, remember he's holding her hands have blood all on it. Remember that? They showed the flashback. Listen. If it wasn't for that flashback, then I would totally. I'm all on board with what you're saying. But that flashback kind of left it open for interpretation, right? So she has a flashback. They actually have the people take her away, right? Because she's going through an episode or whatever, and she has blood in her hands. So I'm like, okay, that's interesting. I don't know. So my thing is maybe she was aiming. That's what I thought. Aiming for Teddy, missed Teddy, hit his brother
in the middle of the head.
Listen. I'm not
that's a perfect shot.
I understand. The odds are probably 1 out of a million, or 1,000,000 to 1 odds of it happening. Yeah, 1,000,000 to 1 odds happening. Nope, not gonna happen. But it's that 1%. It's that 1%. That's it. So again, everybody's dead, right? That can corroborate with the story. Yes. So for him, Teddy still looks like the good guy in a way. But I just the other reason I believe it the way I believe it is because Teddy, when his daughter speaks up, Leah says, "Hey, you're done. You're done with this. You're done with this. You're out of here." He was like, "Okay, come on. That's not the Teddy we know." That's the only reason why I think it was the way it was, because he didn't go crazy like he normally does. And when he believes he's right, he'll definitely speak up and say, "Hey, this," or right or wrong, but he'll say, "This is mine." But he was deflated, because he was emotional. There was an emotional thing with his brother, and that's the one thing you saw. The only person that he really cared for and loved was his brother. So even that episode when he was going through his own ups and downs with his health, those moments with his brother walking on the beach and talking about it, that's what he missed. He really wanted to prove to his family, let alone his brother, that he could do it and that they made it. So I don't know.
Teddy is not to be trusted. The only reason your brother will haunt you is because you killed him, right? Like,
okay, all right.
Lewis ain't just showing up, in a hallucination because he don't got nothing else to do. He's haunting his brother, and he keeps showing up with that bullet in the middle of his head, not because Rose shot him, because Teddy shot him. It was intentional.
Again, I'm not saying Rose intentionally shot him.
No, I know. It was in Teddy's best interest to get rid of his brother because his brother was going to out him, right? But there's no way he can admit that he did it. And the reason he was deflated and emotional was because his entire family was looking at him crazy, right? They were judging him. They were making him. So sure, those emotions and those tears could have been real, but I think they were tied more to his ego. They were tied more to his ego and now how his family sees him. So he doesn't have a choice but to surrender. And right. That's my 2 cents.
Shout out to Joe Morton again for being such an amazing actor that Ellen still doesn't know whether to believe you or not.
Come on. We didn't believe him in Scandal as Papa Pope, but we don't believe him here. Come on.
Don't believe him. Don't believe him.
I love the stance that Leah takes. Finally, she stands up.
Oh.
You got to get out of this house tonight. and you are no longer in command of Franklin Holdings, you got to go. That was hard, I'm sure, to do, but she had to do what she had to do. But segueing a little bit to Angela, right? And how now 2 and 2 comes together and she realizes, like, okay, I guess I believe that Teddy didn't set my mother up. So that only leaves one person. The one person that's not in the room. Whew, that scene was magical, right? Because Olivia thought she was good. Yep, you're leaving Boston. Yeah, I set your mother up. I put crack in her purse because that bitch was having an affair with my best friend's husband. She put crack in her purse. Where'd she get crack from? But anyway, that's neither here nor there. And then, Angela, of course, catches this all on her phone. And then Olivia snatches it and throws it and steps on it. And Angela's response was gold. It's in the cloud, bitch. You're not getting rid of it.
This show sometimes it's very there's levels of class, and then sometimes it gets so hood. It's in the crap. I was like, oh,
that was poetic.
That was good. That was poetic. People, another lesson to be learned here on the show. Look what people are doing before you just open your mouth about killing somebody or setting somebody up. You should probably look first. You got a device on. Keep it to yourself.
Olivia's old school. She ain't thinking about that. She's still stuck in how we used to do things back in the golden age. But it serves her right? She's been thinking she's untouchable. And so I'm glad that Angela was the one to sort of get that, to get her, for lack of a better term. And so the moment between Teddy and Piggy, did you pick up on it? Did anybody pick up on that?
I mean, I don't know. I think you're stretching a little bit.
I'm not. I promise you, I'm not.
No, I thought it was just a moment of them trying to figure out, like, how do I open up to you, a person I've hated for so long? You think there's something there?
We all do, bro. There was a moment right before Teddy walks out that they look at each other, and it's a different kind of look. And Teddy kind of gives her this look like, oh yeah, and then he walks out. There was a moment there that if this wasn't the end of this season, we could have potentially seen something develop, and we will in season 2.
Well, he did save her life.
It was more than that. It was them looking at each other in a new light for the first time. That's what it was.
Yeah, exactly. Yes. Thank you. Call it what it was. It was, and that's what I think it was.
With some feelings there, with some ideas of a feeling there. Like, when you look at somebody that you've known, but then you look at them different for the first time, and there's this question mark of, oh shit, okay, maybe. That's kind of what was underneath that look in my eyes. Cheryl is like, yep. Lisa May is like, I did. Something's up between them. Rashad is like, they were chemistry testing, those two. They were. We saw some chemistry flying. And somebody called RJS. Hi, RJS, watching us from YouTube, says yes.
All right. I don't know what I'm talking about.
You got to go back and just pay attention
to that. Again, I saw the scene. I saw the look. I thought it was a look of like, hey, man, you saved my life. I never looked at you in this light. Now I'm looking at you in a different light as a person that can actually admire and appreciate for the Black successful businessman you've become and the empire you've made. So now I'm looking at you in a whole different light. Again, you guys are saying something else. We shall see.
It was both.
We shall see. Everybody will get T-shirts. We shall see.
I think it was a healthy dose of both of those things, but you're right. We shall see. So on to the end scene, man. So last week or the week before, we talked about, would Leah be there for her man when the time comes, right? I remember I said no. Lisa May was like, she's going to stand by her man. And so when I watched it last night or Tuesday, I remembered that. And so that's exactly what Leah does. When she kicks her father out, she makes Raymond the chairman of Franklin Holdings, which was such a dope scene to see, considering all that they've gone through this season. It was touch and go there. I didn't know if they were going to make it, but it was incredible of her because she was supposed to ascend to that position. That was supposed to be hers, and she gives it to her husband. But I love that she explains, I never really wanted it. I was just doing it for daddy, right? And so now she gets to do what she wants to do, which is, to your point from last week, your prediction came true. She's going into business with Angela to grow Eve's crown from the ground up. So I thought that was so dope, and I thought about you. What did you think of that scene?
I mean, once again, I predicted something. You guys are always doubting me here on the show, but I did it. No. In all seriousness, that was a beautiful moment. I think you're gonna see a better Raymond now because that was his whole thing. Like he was just like, I gotta find that. It's kind of like the donkey with the carrot, right? He's just still trying to get it, and you're never gonna be able to get it. And so she's kind of like cut the string and said, "Here, eat." And now he become the man and husband he needs to become and father he needs to become because there was all these things going on. And so I can't wait for season 2, honestly, to see where it goes. And listen, he still owes Tyreek. So I don't know, is he like, yo, I don't owe you anything anymore because I got what I wanted without really needing you? So that's going to be interesting to see how that relationship works. Or is it just like, oh, no, we're still good. So we'll see.
Well, if things go well and Tyreek and Angela end up getting married for real, which I hope that they do, they're now brothers, right? Brothers-in-law or something like that, or I don't know how that goes. So hopefully they'll be on the same side. I'm worried that Raymond's going to turn into a mini Teddy and become a little tyrant. I don't know. Or he's going to turn into the man that you just described, which would be better. And thank you, Lisa. She says, Ellen, you were right about predicting that she would end up working with her sister. Yes. We both called it. We were both about that.
Ellen has it's Ellen's show. She has a lot of moments here. A lot of moments.
Brother-in-laws. Yes. I just confirmed they would be brothers-in-law. Yeah, and of course the biggest scene, the biggest freaking cliffhanger of all. Who the hell shot Leah? Right? Thinking she was, that was Teddy. And I tried to pick up on that voice. I kept.
Yeah, they try to get you there like, oh, it may be, how you doing? Teddy, here you go, bang, bang.
Did anybody think like who it could be?
It sounded like someone tried to make up a Tyreek's voice. Like,
That's what Rashad just said. He thinks it was Tyreek.
It sounded like a Tyreek's like low voice. Yeah, it did. It totally did.
Oh, RJ says it was Darius. I thought about that too, RJ.
Really?
Yeah, because
Okay, that's a good one.
Right.
That's a good one.
Right. So it had to be somebody that was at the party. Right. So
Darius wasn't at the party though.
He wasn't, or at least we don't think he might have been in the cut or something, because that would have been too easy. If we saw him at the party, then why is he there? So Lisa,
where's the security on this island? By the way, there's never any security. People can walk in and walk out wherever they want on this island.
Good question, Lisa. Why would it be Darius? Because Darius was in on the plan that Teddy had however long ago, right? Like to fake his own death to help Piggy, but I think there was much more to that.
It's a stretch, but it's a good stretch.
Right?
It's a stretch, a good stretch.
But you never know. I mean, I love that it ended with all these loose ends untied, because there's promise for a second season. There was a lot of talk about it's not going to get renewed. Fox is dropping it. But I don't think that's the case. It doesn't sound like it. And if Fox does drop it, I'm thinking somebody else is going to pick it up, like a streaming service, like a Netflix or like a Hulu or somebody. I hope to God they do, because it's such a unique show. I don't know that we've ever seen anything like this on TV before on the Black side.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Do you think there'll be a second season?
I mean, we're going to talk to Lance. We're going to ask him. We're going to try to get Lance on the show.
Ro reached out. Okay. How about you tell it?
Well, I'm gonna I didn't send it yet, but I'm gonna send it after the show. Yeah, I didn't send. Yeah, we're gonna send it the show. I was running. You saw me sweating here. I was running to get here. But Lance on his Instagram. So our followers here tonight, this is what I need you to do. Lance on his Instagram asked everybody should we get a season 2? And everybody's like, yes, fire. I was like, oh, I'm with you. So I need you to blow Lance up tonight and say, hey, Lance, you need to come on Rewind with Ellen, blackfilm.com, and let's get it going. We want to talk to Lance, get the dirt behind the scenes, and find out what's really going on there for season 2. Maybe, who knows? Kind of go from there.
Wouldn't that be something if he came on?
Woo! Hello.
Listen, let's speak it into existence. So we're talking about Lance Gross, for those who
yeah.
information. He plays Tyreek on the show, and that would be nice. And he could potentially respond to some of your comments, right?
Exactly.
So that would be an interesting interaction. So talk a little bit about what this series has been for you, like how it's affected, how it's made you feel.
So every week, I said it, they bring up something that hits an emotion. They've had that discussion that I think a lot of us as Black folks or people of color, we don't really have. We just go through these ups and downs and kind of make it work.
Yeah.
So you're seeing Black success on the highest level, whether it be male or female, which is beautiful on both sides. You're seeing family. Oh my God. When's the last time you saw a well-knit family come together and keep on building their empire on a respectful level? I don't remember the N-word not being used once in this. I don't think they ever did, or just people out of pocket or anything. So it was beautiful. For me, I hate that word more than life itself. I don't use it with my boys or friends or anything like that. So I love when a show can really, granted, it's on public television, but it never felt that way. It felt like it was an environment where it was our Wakanda. This is her. You know what I'm saying? Honestly, it was. It's something we can all aspire to. So that was always done. The color schemes, we keep on talking about every week, but it's just something that was beautiful. The trends, I think they're going to set a lot of trends that once this all subsides, the COVID and stuff, you're going to see a lot of Black trends from this show that I think it can be huge just for the culture. And also dealing with, episodes of a husband and wife, a relationship, talking to people, being incarcerated and how that kind of makes you feel. And it's not easy coming out from that. All these things that we of color deal with throughout our lives or have a family member that went through that. They kind of delved in every episode, not as much as I think they could have done a little bit more, but just enough to open up the conversation that we need to have. And that's what I love what this show constantly does. Doesn't matter what color you are, it's inviting to have a conversation about, wow, there can be us. There are us like that out there, but now they brought it into our homes. And so all these things you see on videos and these guys on the posting this and all that, we actually got to see the inside of what people kind of think like. It, give you an inside peek. So it was beautifully done. I'm excited for season 2. I hope it happens, and love to hear what you think about Ellen.
Sheesh, I echo every sentiment you just mentioned. We've always had shows about white rich families, right? So to have a show about a Black bourgeoisie family and lifestyle with power and access and money, that means something. That shows a different side. That shows so many different types of layers that are incorporated in the writing, right? The storylines, everybody's plots, and just things that I don't know that people necessarily see on TV all the time or associate with Black people or Black characters all the time. So I think this show part of it was kind of a class, if you will, a creative class. It was a life class. It was so many different things. And as dysfunctional and conniving and deceptive as the family was, it doesn't matter if you're rich, you poor or middle class or upper class, we all go through that. We all got drama in our family. They just happen to have a lot more money and a lot more access. But what makes it relatable for the middle class is we get it. right? Because it's not about the money, but we get the issues and the problems and how you all work it out. We get that because we're also experiencing that as well. And they really got a stellar cast to bring this to us, to the forefront. I couldn't have asked, and I've tried to figure out like who could have played these roles any better. I don't think anybody could have. And I read somewhere that the creator Karen Gist wrote the role for Teddy specifically with Joe Morton in mind.
Oh wow!
Right, and I thought that was so dope, and it speaks to why Joe Morton is so good at what he does, albeit he plays the same characters, but that's what he does, and he's really good at it. Yaya DaCosta, I mean, I remember her from America's Next Top Model, right? So to see where she's at now, and she's a beast. So this has opened up doors for actors that we weren't household names, but now they are. And I read somewhere a couple of weeks ago that the show is underrated, and I couldn't understand for the life of me why it was underrated, right? But
we don't want to get any ideas. You don't want to give people any ideas. They can be successful and start their own company and businesses out there and have a good time on the beach. You know, hey.
Yeah. And so RJ says that LaToya Luckett was initially cast as Leah. I do remember that. Would she have done as good a job as Nadine Ellis? I love LaToya Luckett. LaToya Luckett is a beast. She might have given Nadine Ellis a run for her money, but I think this role was perfect for Nadine Ellis. You look befuddled.
I'm looking up who LaToya Luckett is.
What? The former member of Destiny's Child, right?
Oh.
From today. Yeah. And she was in Greenleaf, and she's a good actor. She's a good actor. What? What's happening? You don't think so?
I didn't say anything. I just.
And I love that Rashad has typed in his answer of how this show made him feel, because really Rashad has been the third silent host in this show. Like, so hold on, let me scroll. So he says, for me, it's been so good to see a rich, beautiful, glamorous, ruthless Black family in a soap for us. Absolutely. By us, that was well written, looked expensive, and there wasn't a bad wig or a cheap set anywhere to be found.
Yeah, you know.
Absolutely. It was the Black Dynasty, and better, if you ask me. And we needed that.
You know what? I started to cut you. Rashad, you really nailed that. You don't understand. There was an edit the other day. A lady posted about 50 Cent's show where they cut and edited the same scene. So there's a guy putting on his shoes in front of Mary J. Blige like 3 times. And she's like, oh my God, like who messed this up? And so they knew they had to make this perfect. Like all these things had to be seamless. And so I love that. So Rashad, hats off to you for really pointing that out. It really brought the show all together. Because if you kept one scene like this and then the other stuff was all like rinky dinky, it really takes away from it. So yeah, that shout out to you. Beautifully done.
It was consistent. It was consistent from day one, and they left no room to question anything about it. So shout out to the team. Shout out to the writers, the creators, production, hair and makeup, costume design. I mean, it really takes a village to fully understand what we're trying to do for them to pull it off as beautifully as they did. So what do you want to see in season 2?
I mean, I don't even know where you begin, because it's kind of like, okay, everybody's at peace now, and then do you start this? But no, I mean, I think you want to start Angela's business becoming an empire, right? How do you create an empire? And I think that, you know what, all these people go on these they post something, or they go on YouTube or do seminars, but no one really shows you how to start. What are the next steps and levels to becoming a billionaire? So I would love, and I challenge this show to really give us an insight of like how we get this going. They talked a little bit about, hey, I got to get the branding right. You got to update your branding. They talked about now with the updating and branding, you have to get someone who's going to manufacture, right? They're slowly just giving you tips I would love if they really go into like, now how do I make this the next biggest thing? They talked a little bit about Angela and her social media page and how nowadays you can kind of grow your business overnight. But now I would really love if they take us to that next level. Okay, now this, if you follow these guidelines, it's not guaranteed, but at least that'll put you on the path to success on that next level.
I want to see new characters. I want to see more drama. I want to see more complications. I want to see just how they use power and access to continue telling this Black story and how they use their power and access to the point that you just made. I want to see a storyline, a legitimate storyline for Quincy. What's the deal with his basketball career? Like, what's going to happen with that? Now that he's about to be a baby daddy, does that change things? I want to see Taylor's backstory. Like, there's so many different directions to go. I wish I could be a fly on the wall in the room when Karen Gist pitches her ideas for season 2, right? Because that's what she's essentially going to have to do in order for Fox to be like, boom, we're doing a season 2, or for whoever is going to pick it up. Like,
my only regret is that this show didn't come out during the Obamas, because I think this, oh my God, simultaneously with that would have been huge. So maybe we get Michelle to do like a guest appearance on season 2. Co-brand a little bit. No, you're done. You're sorry.
No.
We've had that 8 years. We're done. No, I just think it shows that there's some truth to it. I don't know.
It's gonna I think that can happen. Whether it's happening in season 2, it would be authentic if it happened. Let me say there, because the Obama's vacation in Martha's Vineyard. So
that's what I'm saying. Just waving.
Happen. But season 2, I don't know about season 2. Maybe 3, maybe 4. Like, I feel like the show has to make a bigger impact than it has for that to happen. I don't know. I could be way off. We shall see. I'm just going to pray to God. If I got to start a petition for season 2, I'm going to do it.
Rashad, we're going to see if the budget's there next season. We're going to see.
Seriously.
We're going to see if the budget.
So Rashad says, if there's a season 2, I want Angela and Leah to be a dynamic duo for sure. No more back and forth with them on the outs. Kill off Lauren. Damn, Rashad. Give me more Quincy. Bring back Darnell Williams for Debbie Morgan. Interesting. And I want to see some more new characters. Paging Taraji Henson is a new rival for Leah. I don't know about Taraji. It's too close to the
Holmes. Can I say one last thing? Sorry, Ellen. I love the different colors that they put on the screen. We sometimes fight to put light-skinned brothers out there, dark-skinned brothers out there. I love that there's every shade of us represented on this show, and even shout out to the big girls. Like, you saw every ray of sunshine you saw on this show, just kind of going through the ups and downs of life. And so that is true. And sometimes a lot of shows don't really go into that. I don't want to deal with the kids coming out and loving each other. It's a tough conversation that Black folks don't talk about. And they had that uncomfortable conversation. And then you saw all these people kind of just be represented on screen. And I love that they did that. Even if it is one season, they try to do everything under one umbrella. And I take my hat off to them for that.
They represented. And I did something I just remembered that Rashad triggered. So Olivia is going to be the new silent backer for Eve's crown. So we're going to have Angela, Olivia, and Leah working at Eve's crown. Do you know the amount of drama that's going to bring? Because Olivia is not going to be silent. She don't know nothing about being silent. So she's going to definitely ruffle some feathers in Eve's crown. And then that's where that drama is going to be. And who knows, she might try to get in between Leah and Angela in some way. So yeah, the possibilities are just absolutely endless. So yeah, it's been a fun 12 episodes. What are we going to talk about next week, bro? I'm just kidding.
Well, if
There's a
you
lot.
there's a big show coming out. I think
What do
it's
you
a
think?
four episode.
Is it the
Bill
Cosby
Co-
thing?
yeah, Bill Cosby. Ah man.
I
Woo!
saw that.
I saw some interviews for that. He was on Trevor Noah. Kamar was on Trevor Noah the other night, and he was like, "Man, I was afraid I was going to get canceled." So I'm really excited to have this conversation, and learn a lot, about everything, the industry and just people who actually how it affected everyone in their own way. So I'm really excited to tackle that topic.
I will say this: it definitely changes one's perspective, which is a bit of a mind f, just given
Yeah, yeah,
what we know. So it's intense. All right, so yeah, that comes out on the 31st, right? On Showtime.
yes. So I guess we'll start it. I don't know if I have time to do that. I mean, we'll talk.
Yeah, what is it called? We need to talk about Cosby, and it's
Yeah, it's
for
on Showtime. So now I have to
it's
go
for
buy Showtime. Um,
I mean, it's worth it. It's worth.
yeah, if you got Showtime, hold on. We'll do that.
I mean, yeah, Abbott Elementary, Rashad. Abbott, I don't know about Queens. I'm on the fence about Queens, but Abbott Elementary is good. But yeah, anyway, we will figure it out, and we will be back next week, Thursday, 8:30. Thank you to Lisa, Rashad,
Thank
RJ,
you.
Cheryl, and everyone else who is watching and maybe didn't comment. We appreciate you as always. Thank you for tuning in. And we will be back, same time, same place next week on Thursday. Ro,
Excited.
always a pleasure, sir.
Yes. Have a great weekend. Be safe. Good luck with all the work.
Thank you. Thank you. Oh, wait, really quick. So for those listening and still watching, check out blackfilm.com's website. We participated in the Sundance Festival, which is currently taking place, and there are a ton of amazing film reviews on our website that our staff has written. So go over there, read some film reviews. A lot of great films that are featuring written or directed by Black talent, which is what we covered, of course. So show us some love and check out the website and tell a friend. Good time. All right, everybody. Thank you. Have a good night.
Bye-bye.
Bye.